Welcome back to another episode of Carson's Aquatics. Today we are going to be setting up a brand new 10-gallon aquarium down here in the fish room. This new 10-gallon tank is going to be going right here where I actually already have a 10-gallon tank. And in this new tank we're going to have my African clawed frog Frankie. And the reason I want to set up a new tank is because this one is just kind of, boring. There's not a whole lot going on. The filtration isn't the best. There's no lighting, there's no heater, there's no decorations other than this little cave. And in case you don't know, Frankie actually has some kind of infection. And I'm trying to get him all healed up from that, and I think setting up a brand new tank will definitely help that. So that's why we're setting up this new tank, and the tank that we're getting is the Top Fin 10-gallon all-in-one starter kit from PetSmart. This kit has just about everything you need. It has the filter, the heater, the light, the lid, the tank itself. It has everything except for like the chemicals and then the decorations, which we will also get at the store while we're there. So this is going to be a super simple setup that you can do yourself. And like I said, this tank is going to be for my aquatic frog, but if you guys are like using this video as a reference for a tank for fish, that is 100% fine. The tank we're setting up in this video is completely suitable for fish. And I'm just super excited to get started on this tank setup. So with all that being said, we're gonna head over to PetSmart and get everything we need. All right guys, so this is the tank we're going with. It is the 10-gallon all-in-one starter kit. Comes with pretty much everything you need. We got the tank itself, the lid, the light, the heater, the filter. The only thing it doesn't really come with is the water conditioner, which we could get right here, but I already have that at home. But what I do need to get is some more of this bacteria starter. I'll actually get the bigger one. This will just help get the cycle going in the tank since it is a brand new tank. And then we're also gonna need some decorations. And this right here is the sand that we're gonna get. You can see it is super fine grain. That's what we want in case our frog accidentally eats it. If we were just doing fish and stuff, we could get whatever gravel we wanted, like this bigger stuff. But since I am doing it for a frog, I wouldn't want him eating that. So we are going with this real fine grained sand. All right, so we've got our tank set up, our substrate, our bacteria starter. Like I said, we have the water conditioner at home. And now the last thing we are gonna buy from here is gonna be some fake plants. And when it comes to plants, you can go either real or fake. That just depends on preference really. But for this specific tank, I am gonna go with fake plants. And we got this nice little variety kit for only 15 bucks. So that's what we're gonna go with. Then as far as like a hardscape goes, I've got some rocks and maybe some driftwood at home we could use. I don't wanna buy rocks from here. They're always super expensive in stores. So with all that being said, we're gonna head home and start setting this up. Alright guys, so we are back from PetSmart. We've got everything right here. We got our tank set up, our sand, then our plants, and our bacteria starter. So we are just gonna go ahead and start unboxing the tank setup, take a look at everything we got with it. So right away we've got our filter right here. Pretty basic hang on the back filter, 90 gallons per hour. Right here we have a 50-watt heater, perfect for a 10-gallon tank. Then on this little piece of cardboard we have a net, as well as a thermometer and a water test vial. Just a couple nice extra things they tossed in there. Then the last thing in here is the lid slash light, and there it is. Then we've got our instruction manual, and then some other random pieces of paper. And then yeah, this is the tank itself. Nice little 10-gallon tank. Great size for your first aquarium if you're just now getting into the hobby. And yeah, this kit has just about everything you need, other than, like I mentioned, the bacteria starter which we bought, and the water conditioner, which takes the chlorine out of tap water. If you use tap water in your tank, you need water conditioner. Then I'll talk more about the bacteria starter in a little bit. But what I want to do now is start draining Frankie's current tank, get the water down to the point where I can move the tank, get that out of the way so we can put the new tank in its place, and start setting it up. So I'm going to get this cave decoration out of the tank and start scooping water out with this pitcher. You could also use a siphon to drain the tank, but this will be a lot quicker. And that should be at the point where I can move the tank now. So I'm gonna move this over here, and now we can start setting up the new tank. And the first thing I wanna do is wipe down the inside of this tank, just to get off any dust or other debris that might be in here. So I'm just wiping it down real good with this wet rag, and that should be about good. So now we can start scaping the tank, in other words, decorating the tank. And as far as decorations go, we have our bag of sand, our fake plants, and then like I talked about at the pet store, I already had a bunch of rocks we can use. Oh, and I also have some gravel that we're gonna use. It is nice and large so that our frog can't ingest it. So we're gonna use all this different stuff to make our tank look nice and natural. And before we actually start putting that stuff in the tank, I do want to put the filter and heater in the tank so that we can like see where that's gonna be set up, so we can put the decorations around it. And we're probably even gonna like try and hide the heater with one of our plants. So I'm gonna go run and rinse down this filter and heater, and then we can throw them in the tank. Alrighty guys, so I just rinsed down the filter and heater, so we can go ahead and put those in place. And the filter is gonna go about right there, and then our heater is gonna go right next to the filter intake. So now that our filter and heater are in place, I'm now gonna start putting some structure in the tank. I'm gonna start putting some rocks in there. And I think I definitely wanna use these like cool layered looking rocks. I forget where I got these, but I think these would look awesome in there. So I'm gonna go rinse these down real quick and then we can start putting them in the tank. All right guys, so I got our rocks all rinsed down. So I'm going to put this big one, I think right over here in the left corner. I'm thinking we could use that big rock as like a barrier and have a bunch of sand high up over here, then have one of the plants back here. Yeah, I think that'll look cool. So we're gonna have that one right there. And then this smaller one I think is gonna be right over here. And I'm thinking we could have like that gravel back behind this rock, gravel behind this rock, and then like coming through the middle, the gravel could fade into the sand, which is like over here. I think that's what we're gonna do. I think that would look really cool. And we can like slip the plants in around the rocks. So yeah, I'm gonna start putting some of this gravel in those places. And I did already go ahead and rinse this gravel, by the way. In case you haven't noticed yet, you just wanna rinse everything before you put it into the tank. You want everything to be nice and clean. So we're gonna pile up some gravel back there behind that rock. Then we're also gonna have some back in this corner. All right, so that's all we're gonna do with the gravel for now. Once we get the sand and plants in there, then we'll probably sprinkle some more gravel in there where it needs to be. And yeah, this is looking pretty good so far, but the next thing we need to do is put in some sand. Once again, we're gonna put that sand pretty much everywhere that there isn't gravel right now. So like right up here, start going back there, and then over in this corner. But first, of course, we do need to rinse the sand. And to do that, right here I have a bucket of water, and I'm gonna dump some sand into the bucket. See where we're at with that, and I'm gonna stir that sand around in this water, and that'll get any dust and dirt out of the sand, all the stuff we don't want in our tank. And now we're gonna start adding that sand into our tank. All right guys, so now that we have like a base layer of sand in the tank, I think I want to start putting the plants into their places so that we can like bury them and see where we need more sand, more gravel, stuff like that. So I'm gonna go ahead and rinse these plants down and then start putting them into the tank. All right guys, so this right here is the tallest plant we got. So I'm gonna use that to try and hide the filter intake and heater, and it looks like it's gonna do a pretty good job of that. So I'm gonna move some of this gravel to the side so that we can actually bury the plant. And we're gonna move that gravel back over the base of the plant. And yeah, there we go. Then right here we have our other big plant, and we're gonna put that in this other corner. So once again, I'm gonna kind of move some of this gravel so that we can bury the base of the plant. And now we're gonna put some more gravel on top of that. And this is turning out awesome. And right here we have two smaller plants. So we're gonna add those into the tank next. I'm gonna put this one right back here tucked up in that big rock, right where that gravel starts to transition into the sand. Then we're gonna put this one right over here tucked into this rock, just like that. Then we have two more tiny plants. So we're gonna put this one right under here. Then we'll just put this one like right here. So that is pretty much it for the scape of the tank. After we fill it with water, I'll probably like add in some more gravel and possibly sand if we need to. But it is looking just awesome so far. It's turning out exactly how I wanted it to. And yeah, like I just said, the next thing we need to do is just start filling it with water. Alrighty guys, so the tank is now full of water, and again, it is just looking so good. And before we add the final touches, I do want to go ahead and plug in the filter and the heater, and I'm also going to add in the water conditioner. And we're also going to add in our bacteria starter, which basically makes beneficial bacteria start colonizing in the tank and start turning the tank into an actual ecosystem, and that should be good. And now I'm just going to add a few finishing touches. I'm going to sprinkle in a bit more gravel, and then I think I'm going to put a little bit more sand on this side. And I also have this background that I want to put on the back of the tank. Alrighty guys, and there's one last thing to do, and that is put on the lid and light. So we're gonna throw that on there right now, and I'm gonna turn it on in 3, 2, 1. Oh my gosh, just look at this tank. Oh my goodness, that turned out amazing. It definitely turned out better than I thought it was going to. I mean, this is one of the better tanks I've ever set up. Like, that looks great. And I cannot wait to see Frankie the Frog in his new tank. I'm sure he's gonna love it. But I am gonna let this tank run for about an hour before we put Frankie in there. We just wanna give that filter some time to work. We wanna let the heater get the water up to the proper temperature. So we're gonna give it about an hour, and then we will be back down here to put Frankie into his new tank. I'll see you then. Alrighty guys, so it's been a little bit over an hour, and the thermometer in the tank is telling us the water temp is where it needs to be. So this tank is ready to go. So we're gonna go scoop Frankie out of this tank and put him on into his new home. And here he goes. And there he is right back there. He definitely looks a bit pale right now. He's just stressed out being in a new environment. But once he gets a bit more comfortable in this tank, he is definitely gonna love it. But here's one last look at the new 10-gallon tank for tonight. We are gonna check in on this tank and Frankie in the morning, see how he's doing, see if he's more comfortable in the tank. I'm sure he will be. But yeah, with all that being said, I will see you in the morning. Alrighty guys, so it is the next day and let's just go right ahead and take a look at our new 10-gallon tank. As you can see, it is just looking great. The water is absolutely crystal clear. Yesterday there were some air bubbles in there and you can see they all went away. And Frankie is doing absolutely great. You might be able to tell his colors are a lot darker now. He was looking super pale yesterday, but he is definitely a lot more comfortable in here now. One thing I did add is a couple flat rocks up here by the filter, just to cover up these gaps so the frog can't jump out. And yeah, overall, I honestly couldn't be happier with how this tank turned out. And it seems that Frankie's already loving it too. Be sure to let me know what you guys think of the new tank down in the comments. That is going to wrap up this video, and today's comment of the day goes out too. And if you want your comment to be the comment of the day in the next video, all you got to do is drop a comment down below, and that could happen. And if you liked this video, be sure to hit that like button, do me a favor and hit that subscribe button, turn on post notifications, and I'm going to see you in the next video.